Hi, comic book fans, and welcome to suddenlycomics.com. It's a Monday night. It is the price variance, and we are looking at the top Silver Age sales at Heritage last week, as curated by everybody's favourite Canadian, Allan, who has got something wrong with his eye. He always seems to. I'm sure you guys think I'm bullying him and beating him up and telling.
Don't mind me
Last
as I
week he
try.
had concussion. This week he's got
I
a.
still have a concussion.
He's still got concussion. Yeah, I'm unrelenting. I just won't let him alone. Anyway, let's get on with today's show. We're going to share the screen, and the first comic we are going to look at is not that one, is this one, a fantastic one.
Oh yes. Okay. There's a lot of story behind this one. I love this book, by the way.
It's a great
Uh,
cover.
um, have you read the story for this one?
I haven't. No, tell us it.
So basically, this is Batwoman's first appearance,
Yeah,
and they there was, I think because of Wortham, there was always this kind of rumor that Batman was like, maybe grooming Robin. Like there's that kind of weird relationship
sexual
going on there.
predator,
Yeah.
older
So
man and younger boy.
so they wanted to create a love interest for Batman. So they created Batwoman. Okay? And they wanted to show her like that she's, worthy of being Batwoman's girl. So basically the story involves her being like always there first. So they get the bat signal, and when they get there, the crime has already been solved. She's already she's already beat them to the punch every time. And so it's just that's the whole story really. And there's that kind of love interest at the end. Oh, what a woman kind of thing. So that's the story. They really tried to create this new love interest for Batman, and later on in the modern age, they made her a lesbian. So that's how it works.
Well, I think she's just exploring her sexuality, Alan.
Oh, okay.
I think your definitions are too narrow. I think I think she's gender fluid between the generations.
Okay. Well, I liked her when she was just like Batwoman. But yeah, so this is, and this is actually not even the first Batwoman. There was another Batwoman before her, a
Quite like
blonde.
the costume.
Yeah, the costume's great.
I don't know why they dropped that. Um, right. $1,560 for a 4.0. Is that up or down, Alan? What do you reckon?
Mm, I think I always remember this one going for around $300 a point. So I was thinking it was around a $1,200 book.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. It might be.
It's sort of downish.
So maybe when I bought it, but I bought it in 2019 or 18.
That was that wasn't a good time to buy. So we're down at 1,500. It peaked during COVID at
Oh
3,500,
wow. Wow, way more than I expected actually. I didn't realize that I'd gotten up that high. I should
but
have
it
seen
has
the
sort of
copy.
flattened out, hasn't it? It's here. It's reached its new FMV. It's sort of flat at about 1,600.
So what's funny? There was some spec before COVID, but because there was the Batwoman show, right?
Yeah, that got cancelled. Yeah,
It was terrible. It was considered one of the worst comic book shows of any time. Like it's
which
just like,
which you have to say it's got a lot of competition for that accolade.
yeah. But no, there is a lot of competition, I think. There's a lot of really bad shows out there. I don't know. This one is it was pretty bad though. It was like yeah, it was just unwatchable. Um oh, so that's very disappointing. So we did well on my channel with the books. This one not
Not
we're
so good.
starting off on a
There's only
bad foot.
310 of these. This is quite a rare comic.
I know. It should be worth like $1 million.
It should. That means Alan's got one.
Yeah.
He just admitted to having one, yes.
Oh well. but very. I think it's a cool book.
It
I
is.
love the cover. I love it's the first
Yeah.
appearance.
I think it's one of the better covers.
Yeah, I
But
love the fact that you got the Batmobile, you got the Bat Signal, you got
yeah,
her on her Bat bike.
yeah,
It's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin cozying up in the Batmobile. Right. Okay. There we go. Here's another major key which we see regularly. This is Fantastic Four 48. Now, this was dropping last time we saw it, Alan.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that because there is the Fantastic Four. Is it the Fantastic Four movie that the Silver Surfer is coming in?
Well,
I believe.
well, we know we're getting Shalabar,
Yeah, but it's a silver. It's a Herald of
A
Galactus.
Herald of Galactus.
Yeah, this is the first time we get Galactus and we get a Herald, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this is not considered to be the first appearance of Galactus, but it is actually the first appearance of Galactus. It says his name on the cover. He has like a 2-page spread inside the book. I think it's the first appearance of Galactus.
Definitely is. Right.
Okay,
Okay. So that sold for 2,000. I think this comic is still sliding.
I think so. We'll see though.
Oh dear. Yes. I mean, as you say, it is 2 or 3 years since COVID, but unfortunately, over that 2 to 3 years, this has only gone in one direction.
And it sold for 7,000. Was that what I saw there?
It did indeed sell for $7,600. So
Wow.
you've lost $5,000 so far on this, guys. If you bought that one,
Wow. Wow. And it's actually kind of hovering around pre-COVID pricing.
it is. So pre-COVID, he's here at 2.7. So it's right on the pre-COVID price.
Wow. That is very sad because to me, this is one of those major books that you would want to get. Like, first appearance of the Silver Surfer. I mean, it's like kind of a major character. I just think it's
Yeah, but I
really,
think this suffers from this, Alan.
I know. It's got so there was a warehouse find of this book. That's another big problem with it. Like, so I mean, there's like 10,000 on the census. Like,
Exactly. That's why I think this has got this
insane.
is 49. There's half the number of them. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah. Still, I think it's a great book. It's like
it is.
yeah,
There's a lot of greater copies.
yeah. I mean, actually, I think there's a website where you can go and they rank all the books based on if you take the values of all the copies and you figure out how much would this be worth if you sold every single copy that's known to exist of a comic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that in a way kind of tells you how much a comic is worth compared
Yeah.
to another comic.
Yeah.
Well, this one is actually worth more than 49 just
Yeah,
by the
because there's more
sheer
of them.
volume. Yeah, just by the sheer volume. Yeah. Um,
Well, that doesn't require a rocket scientist. Okay.
well, so it is worth more than what the volume would project it to be
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Oh well. Yeah, sad. I like that book.
Well, I prefer 49, but I like it. I've got it. I mean, I've
I
got,
prefer 49 for the cover,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I like Silver Surfer being on the cover. I
Yeah.
think that's important.
Yeah. No, 49 is a better cover. This
Yeah.
this this one is like a geography teacher explaining something. Right. Another regular on the show. Tales of Suspense, number 39.
This one's a special one though.
Oh, is it? Why? Let's have a look. Is
All
it
right, take a
is
look at
all,
it.
is all the
There's something.
there we go. We've
Oh,
got
look at that.
quotation marks in there, Alan.
That's so pretty. So pretty.
Alan gets very excited by these quotation marks.
There's little quotation marks. It has both. So usually you will have it like where it has only one of them. Like it'll get like, there's the double on each side, right? So
Yeah.
one will get chopped off just by the way that they were centered. Um, so I think this one's it's a pretty awesome book. I mean, I think uh people would pay a premium for that, is my point. So yeah. So
Right. Now I have to tell you a story, Balin. So about 2, 3 weeks ago, when I was on holiday,
okay.
I saw this auction come up at an auction house in the middle of bloody nowhere,
Mhm.
and in the UK, and they had about 10 comic lots. And you could tell that this auction house had never handled comics before. There's a bundle of comics. There must have been about 40 comics in there. And the guy put an estimate on these 40 comics of 25 to 30 pounds.
Oh wow.
One of the comics in the lot was a Tales of Suspense 39 Raw in mid-grade.
Oh nice. Okay. It's only worth about
Not
40
only
bucks.
the other 30 comics in this lot were things like X-Men 2,
Oh
X-Men
wow.
3, Silver Surfer 1. I mean, it was just completely jam-packed. They were all raw, not bagged or boarded, just
Oh
in
wow.
a stack of comics like this. And and the auctioneer clearly knew nothing about comics, and they put a 25 to 30 pound estimate on the comics.
On the whole entire lot
On
or
the and
just
all 40 comics, yeah.
so a dollar each?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So I would, I'd pay $2 each. Just,
So I looked at this, and you could pre-bid on it. And by the time I was looked at it, somebody it'd been spotted by a whole bunch of collectors.
oh
So
yeah, I imagine.
by the time pre-auction, it was sitting at £6,000.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Um, and I said to Claire, we were in France. I was watching this as we were cycling along the Moselle Valley. I stopped to have a break. And I said, I bet this goes for more than £10,000. Well, it did. It went for £12,000 plus 25% buyer's premium. So it went for £15,000. But I still think the person got a bargain.
That's a bargain. That I
Yeah.
mean, I can think of like 3 or 4 books within what you
Yeah.
described
Yeah. No,
that
I mean, I
would.
said to Claire, if I'd got the capital, I didn't have that amount of money in my comics account. If I'd had it, I'd have been prepared to bid up to 15,000. It would have taken a lot of sorting out. You'd have to get them all cleaned and pressed. You'd have to go send them all off to
Yeah,
CNC and get them graded. Then you'd have to send them to Heritage to sell. So it would have taken a year to get your money back.
but you double your money.
You probably
Uh,
would, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Even with the prices being low, you
Yes.
double your
Oh no,
money.
that's well, even yes, no, this was $15,000. I reckon was £15,000 would have been at least half FMV for these. There were,
Yeah.
now, I
Wow.
bought another lot from the same auction, obviously from the same owner,
Okay.
all Silver Age stuff, loads of Silver Age Green Lantern, the first 15 Atoms, a whole, about 50 comics, not quite a high. They were from the same guy. They were all stacked. They'd never been bagged and boarded. I think they'd been bought by somebody back in the 60s, put in their
So
attic.
this is like a private collection that
Yeah,
just like,
I think this has been bought by somebody in the 60s, put in an attic. Never particularly handled or anything. Sat in an attic for 40 years. Guy dies. People take them out of the attic, take them to the local auction house. So they
wow.
were they were really dirty. Yeah. When I say
Okay.
dirty, you could feel,
You have to, yeah, probably dusty and
dusty,
yeah.
dusty.
Mhm.
So they all needed cleaning. I've cleaned half of the ones I got, and I got loads of early House of Secrets and early House of Mysteries in the same set.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, I was prepared to pay £600 for the lot, and I got it for 320, so I was delighted.
Oh, wow. So cheap.
Yeah.
And I know that when you say 600, you're actually already at half FMV. That I
Yes.
know that because of the
Yeah.
way you
Yeah.
buy. So
Yeah. So I probably got them for a 25% of FMV.
that's so insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, back to this one. Sorry, I'm distracted. You mean?
so, so this one's a double quote. Not a bad looking 4.0. It's got that chip in the corner. Marvel is kind of known for Marvel chipping at that era.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so seems like a reasonable price.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable. 7.2 for a 4.0, but it's a nice looking 4.0.
Oh yeah,
Apart
yeah,
from
yeah.
this chip in the corner, it's
Yeah, I think the chip really took it down a notch.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow, somebody got a steal on this one.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
Pre-COVID, it's about pre-COVID price. Pre-COVID 7.1. This is 7.2.
wow. And the thing is that the double quotes, I know it sounds like a really trivial thing, but it does give usually a premium. So
Well,
this is way like
it's
when I say this is down a lot because if it's back to pre-COVID price,
yeah,
that's comparing it to something that doesn't have the double quotes.
yeah, probably.
Oh,
Two,
wow.
much less of this one than the last one. 2.879.
Wow. That's very disappointing. But it seemed it shows you how valuable this book used to be, right?
Yeah, and
I
this is
mean,
why I think that auction was because you were buying right at the bottom of the market. Yeah. So when I was valuing the stuff in this lot, I was using these value, the current values, not these high values. Is this book going to come back up again? Of course it is. You know,
yeah,
this is a golden key.
yeah. I mean, it's Iron Man is one of the big characters. I mean, it used to be considered a B character, but I would say now he's like an A class character
Yeah.
for Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a major hero. Wow, very disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. On to
But
here we go. Oh, I've never seen this comic before, Alan. What is it?
it's the back of something.
Oh, oh, I have seen it before. So here we go. Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Spider Peter Parker,
Peter Parker.
the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting about this is it's a conserved
Now, what
book.
does that mean, Alan?
So whenever I price out conserved books,
Yeah.
no matter what the grade is, I always take it as half the blue label
Well,
value.
why?
Because the conserved book means that it is restored, right? But it's at a professional level of
Yeah,
restoration.
all that somebody has done, it's not had anything added to it. It's not had anything taken away from it.
Yeah,
Generally, they've done it in a
generally
way
done.
that counts as conservation rather than restoration.
Yes.
you know, I don't think conserved should go for a lower price than a non-conserved one. All somebody's done is trying to preserve it in as unintrusive methodology as possible.
Yeah. But people, it is still conserved. Whenever people think of conserved or restored, they're almost synonymous. Like they just think of them as like different levels. Um, and
Who's the guy who Jitterbug, Jerry the
Jerry
Jitterbug.
the Jitterbug,
He
yes,
does phenomenal conservation work on comics.
yes, yeah, he brings them back to life.
I would rather have a conserved Jerry the Jitterbug comic than a unconserved one.
You know what's really interesting? Like you watch his videos, and he'll take a book that if you touch it, it'll turn to dust in your hands.
Yeah,
And then at the end of it all, he does his like Gigordo paper or whatever it's
yeah,
called, some
yeah,
crazy thing. And he brings it back to a point where you can actually flip through it
yeah,
as if it was a new comic. And
yeah,
I just think that's amazing. That he brought the life back into the comic.
yeah,
And that's what conservation is. It's
yeah,
like really bringing it back to life.
yeah,
Um, I think, whether we like it or not, the truth is, in a few hundred years, either there's going to be no more comics left, or they're all going to be conserved. You know what
yeah.
I mean? They'll have to go through some conservation in order to keep them
Well,
from turning to
I
dust.
mean, if you look at the library of, because I do a bit of conservation work.
Hmm.
And if you look at the Library of Congress, if you look into sort of paper conservation,
Hmm.
because a lot of the documents in museums and places they need to be conserved. So basically, the problem with these comics is the acid in the paper. Um,
Yeah, it breaks
so
them down.
basically, the cellulose gradually decays, produces compounds that are acidic, and the sort of process escalates. So, in order to conserve paper, you need to get rid of the acidity,
Mhm.
um, and you can de-acidify um, books
Paper. Yep.
using various different techniques, which the Library of Congress have sort of pioneered. And as an amateur, you can actually do it as well. You know, you can buy these.
Yeah, you buy these baths and stuff
Yeah,
that you put
yeah,
them in. Yeah.
yeah. And there's deacidification sprays and things. And MIP paper, micro interleaving paper, contains compounds that will
Yeah, it draws out the acidity.
neutralize the acidity of the comic. So you can, and CGC did actually used to put
They still do.
micro
They still do.
interleaving paper into the comic. So you can make the paper life considerably longer by using those techniques.
Yeah. So I just think, this is it's one of those silly things. My stance on restoration on conservation is that it's undervalued for the most part. Like, where it's going to be something that's more and more common in the future.
Yeah, I
So
mean, this one was interesting. I'd not seen a conserved book before come up like this, and I had assumed the conserved wood book would be of the same value as an
no,
unconserved one.
no. So usually it's about half. Like
Yeah, and in
from
this case,
from
it is half. Um,
yeah.
because I looked at this earlier because I've not seen a conserved, and I was amazed that this was half the value. I'd buy that. I would rather have that at $24,000 than an unconserved one at $48,000.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't you? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, definitely. So
that's
I
going to
mean,
last
but there
longer for a
is a
start.
negative association to the conserved label,
Yeah.
and as I said, it cuts the value in half.
Well, it's
Definitely.
crazy. Buy the conserved one.
The funny thing is, in certain grades, like the lower grades, conserved actually is less valuable than restored.
That's
Because
even more bonkers.
that so and it's the weirdest thing. So as I was saying, like it's pretty much every time I see a conserved book, it's half the value. Well, in the really low grades, you can get 80% of the value in a restored book, like in a 110, or a point 0.5. Nobody cares about restoration at that point. So it's almost the same value as the blue label. But for some reason, you put a conserved label on it, and it's still half. It's the funniest thing. I don't get it, but that's what I've seen
All right.
consistently.
Okay.
Consistently.
So I think we know what we're going to see here.
Yeah.
So that is the non-restored is worth 46.
46. So this is like a little bit more than half, actually, which is
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
And how does this compare to other conserved ones? Does it have conserved as
Yeah, there it is.
as
Well, oh no, it doesn't have.
no, that's restored. That's restored.
Yes, you're right. I've never seen it before. It obviously was going to be on this, wasn't it? Well, 24, a 5.5, 28, a 6.5, 36. Sounds all reasonable to me.
Yeah. So how much? How can we see the trend line for it and see how it did?
Trend line.
Okay, click on the listing. Yeah, that one.
There's only going to be one of them, Alan.
That's it. Okay. Oh, that's not very interesting.
Another record
Okay,
for you.
another record. Yay! But how about okay? Let's compare it to the restored.
Yeah, restored at
I
5.0.
think the restored should go a little less at this grade point.
No, the restored's more.
See, does
This
that
great,
does
that
that
is
make
not, that
sense?
is ridiculous.
Oh,
The
what
last
does
restored sold for 33.
I personally rather the conserved?
I would rather the conserved.
But wow, that is funny. So what does that mean?
Well, it means buy conserved.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want a deal, yeah. But restored are actually better performing. I actually, yeah, in a 5.0, it should be about 60%. So it is, yeah, it would go for a bit more. Isn't that stupid?
Yes, because with the restored, they've taken away from the comic.
They've done things to make it look better than it really is.
Yeah, whereas with
It's
conserved, they've restored it. They've
yeah,
sorry, with conserved, they have not added or distracted from the comic, I think is the way it has to work.
yeah. It's the way that they describe it in CGC is restoration is about enhancing the look,
Right.
almost making it seem like a deceptive practice where they're trying to make it look better than what it really is.
Yeah.
Whereas conserved is really making the book what it is, but not falling apart.
Right. Okay.
Um, so yeah, so that's that's funny though. Oh well. So yeah,
Right.
make
Now,
sure
Alan. So, for our last comic this week,
here, but wait, just one quick thing with that one last book.
right,
Somebody should go in and just color touch the crap out of it.
and
Get
then
that
put the
purple.
value up.
Yeah, you'll get an extra $10,000.
Because then it'll be restored rather than conserved.
And you might even get a grade boost too.
You might get grade boost.
Oh, that'd be so funny. This is like I'm sure like Jerry the Jitterbug is like, what are you
Yeah, Jerry will be going loopy over that.
talking?
Well, I know he
But
has fun. He has fun and games with CGC anyway, doesn't he? Right.
yeah, he does. Oh well.
Okay, Alan, I'm going to shock you now.
Okay.
I have bought an Arachnid comic.
Oh wow. Wow. Did you buy a nice one? Did you buy one that we saw on this list?
Um,
Oh, wait, it's invisible. It's invisible
well, hang
arachnid
on, I
comic.
need to. You can't see it because I've got one of these. It's oh.
It's invisible. It is. This is a shock scare because we can't even see the book.
It's a restored invisible version, Alan. That's hang on, let me change my
Your camera
setting.
is being too smart.
Hang on. Where do I get rid of this bloody background? Oh,
Wait, we're gonna lose the wood paneling. The wood. We love the wood paneling.
change theme. I don't think that's a theme. What am I doing? Gallery.
Or is that actually? It's not wood paneling. It's brick. I thought it was wood paneling
No,
because it's kind of
it's
brown.
a very tasteful room. How dare you criticize my room?
Well, I actually wasn't sure about the there's sort of like I know it's a clock, but it has kind of a phallic symbol on the
Right,
I was
Alan, I'm going to have to tell you what it is, and then put because I can't find how to get rid of this background.
okay, can you maybe put it on you like if you put it on you? Like if you
There we
yeah,
go.
see? That's I found a workaround.
It's Spider-Man Comics Weekly #1.
Oh, okay.
This is the
That's
first
kind of
UK Spider-Man comic from Marvel.
really, really like I mean it wasn't
It was produced by
Spider-Man.
Marvel UK.
Okay,
It was a weekly thing. Heck, first one comes out in 1973, which is this one.
okay.
It's weekly, so it quickly mounts up in number of issues. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, I can imagine.
I think we ended up at issue 790 something in the end. It renamed itself a few times. I think
But wouldn't it have run out of content pretty quickly?
there's a lot of Spider-Man content, Alan, and that at some stage he combines with something else. It sort of goes to Spider-Man and the superheroes or something, and we get a lot of Hulk and Avengers.
Wow.
But it does run as Spider-Man Comics Weekly for something like 300 or 400 issues, I think. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so this is the first one. I picked it up in an auction lot. Again, it was in a box of stuff. They hadn't even pointed out that Spider-Man #1, Comics Weekly #1 was in there. So my question to you is a few questions first. What do you think
Okay.
it's worth?
I don't know, like
It's in a
50
reasonable
bucks.
grade. It's a mid-grade.
I'm still gonna go 50 bucks. I don't think it's worth that much. Sorry.
$50. Should I get it slabbed?
No. No,
See,
it's
this is the
not.
problem with people in the American continent. They have
Well,
no
that's my point. Like,
appreciation. I mean, look
I
at
know
this.
that
It's
these
got a
British ones are
lovely, the
worthless.
price point, 5 pence. That's the reason you don't like it, because it hasn't got a horrible
Uh,
cents thing on it.
yeah. So,
Um,
did you look up the FMV of it? Am I right?
I haven't actually. I think it's worth about 70 or 80 pounds, so it's worth more than 50 bucks.
Oh, okay. But
Um,
so for me, anything that's under $200, not worth grading.
right.
You
Okay.
know, it's really, the cost of grading is just so high that, you have to have it above a certain point or you won't get your money back.
But I have to tell you, if I had the free gift of the Spider-Man mask,
Oh, it doesn't have the free gift, it's
it doesn't have
incomplete.
the free gift in it.
It's
If you get
even
the
like,
free gift, it's completely loopy. If the free gift is with it, it's worth about 5 times as much.
yeah. So
So I'm now on the
I might
lookout for
revise
a
my fifty
Spider-Man
dollars.
mask.
I
Um,
think my $50 was actually a very good price. I think maybe it's maybe more like $30 then.
well, I'm not selling it to you for that price. I don't tell you that your Amazing Fantasy 15 is only worth $50, do I?
Well, it's from the 70s. It's like a little bit late, it's like,
Well, it's 10 years later.
yeah.
It's not
But
that long.
I think, I was being nice. I should have said $1. I was joking.
Right, away with you. Away with you. I'll see you next week.
No, we'll see. We'll look it up. And next week we'll find out, was I right? I'm thinking around $50 with the mask. I'm actually thinking with the
No, yeah,
mask.
it's worth a lot more with the mask. Right, I will produce some data demonstrating that you're
And
right.
we'll find out what it's
So
worth.
that is it for this week, guys. If I've managed to get rid of this background by the end of next week, I'll show you the actual comic.
Cool.
That's your lot. See you again next week when Alan will be curating another list for us to look at, which will undoubtedly have an arachnid in it.